right, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Nathan from the Cowart team for everyone who maybe doesn't know me yet. And we're here tonight to talk about budgeting like a boss.
Like a
And Jesse's here with me too. She's going to be helping some with the presentation and also with like the chat. If you guys have questions or anything, please drop them in there, and Jesse will be kind of monitoring that. So don't feel shy about asking any question at all tonight. It's like for everyone. We're not trying to make this something that's scary or daunting. If you have the most basic questions or if you're already doing an awesome budget, I think anyone can take something away from this. So thanks again for being here, and let's get started. So, budgeting like a boss is about using your money wisely. So you can always earn more money and always spend more money, but budgeting is about telling your money where to go. Um, and we like to start with just telling you a little bit about ourselves because we use this budget and we really believe in it. We are the Cowart team. We've worked with both of you guys before, and we are just a small business essentially here in Richmond, Virginia. We do mortgages, but we like to think it's a little more than just that. We provide great advice. We create mortgage plans for you. And we're really a part of the community. So, when you work with us, you're not just getting like a basic go out and shop for a house and call us when you're there. You're getting like a comprehensive approach to your mortgage and hopefully your future too. So that's part of what this is, whether you're in the early stages of looking to buy a house or if you've already bought a house with us, you can get a lot out of budgeting. And we like to keep in touch with our past clients as well as future clients. And this is a great way for us all to connect. Couple of things just before we really get started. We're going to move quickly tonight and we're going to really try to end on time. I know it is evening time. I don't know if you had dinner yet, but I don't want to keep you guys all hanging on the line for too long. So we will have some brief breaks for questions. And like I said, feel free to put anything in the chat. If anything feels overwhelming or like you're not quite getting it, don't worry. We're here to help. If you need to reach out after this, webinar, uh, we'll have our contact information available. We can text, email, call, whatever. We're here for you, but we are going to move kind of quickly. So if it's a little overwhelming, just bear with us. The main tools we're going to use tonight are the monthly budget spreadsheet. I'm going to show you where you can download that from our website for free, our guide on how to use the spreadsheet, and the instructions as well, which is kind of like the step-by-step breakdown. We're also going to show you at the end a link to our podcast where we talk through a lot of this stuff in detail as well. So you can revisit that whenever, if you're, hanging out in the house, mowing the grass on your own time. And this presentation will also be available all on our website, which is thecowartteam.com. All right. Let's see here. So yeah, like I said, feel free to reach out to us afterwards if you have questions. We really encourage you to kind of start by just dipping your toes in, doing what you can with this. The more you do it, the more we call it chopping wood, the more you just kind of keep at it, the better you get at it. We do this webinar once a quarter. So if you want to rejoin us in a quarter or two to revisit it, we love that and we'd love to see you again. So this is just a starting point. Don't feel like you have to dive all the way in today. We're here for you, and just getting your toes in is the best way to start. We all use this budget on the team. I'm pretty new to the team, but the overall group has been doing this for over 10 years, and it's based on a budget plan and program that's been used by top realtors and lenders for over 20 years. It's great because it's simple, it's easy to learn, and it can be adapted from people with really simple finances all the way up to really high earners with complex finances. So wherever you are on the kind of wealth ladder, it can apply to you. All right, let's start with just some like fun facts.
fun,
uh,
wild.
yeah, I say fun facts very tongue in cheek. It is crazy to think that 56% of families don't have savings to get through a $1,000 emergency. A lot of folks end up, using credit cards or leaning on family or other people, even for something that's just $1,000. 70% of Americans don't have $1,000 in cash savings in their accounts. U.S. debt is at an all-time high, and most of Americans' wealth is in their homes. 62% and 66% of Americans own a home. So I don't know if any of that feels like you, and if it does, like here's the numbers. You're maybe not alone. You shouldn't be, ashamed or worried about the fact if any of these things apply to you, but it's just a crazy time in America and a crazy financial climate that we all live in. So we're here to kind of help you improve and set some goals. So suggested game plan is step one, let's just be better than 70% of Americans and create an emergency fund. If you had $1,000 in the bank and you knew that your car broke down or something broke in your house, you'd be okay to just fix it, not worry about it, not have to use a credit card or anything like that. Second step, look at what you need to pay your bills. What's your survival number? And we'll talk a little more about that later. And just start with 1 month. Let's get that in the bank so that if something else happened or, there was little uncertainty with your job or, another emergency came along, you feel covered. Third is starting to look at your debts. We all pretty much all have debt, and there's some debt that's better than others. We're in the mortgage business, so we tend to think that mortgages are good debt. It's lower interest, it's part of your overall wealth building plan. But there's some debts that are kind of bad debts, which are your higher interest consumer debts, like your credit cards, personal loans, things like that. So we'll talk about the debt snowball and how to approach debt. And then once you're working on paying down your debts, another great goal is to start saving for a 3-month reserve. And once you're there, you're really doing better than most. And you can really start to feel comfortable and start to feel a sense of freedom with it when it comes to your finances. That's what this is really all about, is to let you take control of your money and not let your money kind of run your life. Anybody have any questions just so far on the basics as we're getting started? Right.
Keep it moving.
All right. These are just some kind of mantras, things that are good to keep in mind, that are easy to remember. I'm not going to go through each one of them, but you'll have this slideshow you can check out afterwards. Some of the ones I really personally always stick to are a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. I just like that. It's not like, your budget is going to create more money. It just kind of gives you the mental map of what you're doing with it. And then when you start having a problem or wondering about it, you can go back to your budget and say, oh, well, that's where I spent more money. Or actually, I didn't spend that much. And here's, where that money ended up going instead. And I also like this one down here, chop wood, progress versus perfection. We encourage you to do a budget and to keep up with it regularly, but not to obsess over it and not to make it perfect. It just should be a guide for you. It should be something that you feel good about, that you're not like worrying about or looking at every day. We say twice a month is like as much as you ever need to look at your budget. If you're looking at it more than that, it's probably not working for you and you should revisit it. A few of the concepts, kind of big picture stuff we'll go over this evening. The fear of zero is just the idea of changing your money thought process around instead of like keeping a ton of money in your account or worrying about how much is left. It's about setting a budget where you're planning to get to zero and then letting that be your guide. And we'll talk more about that. It's a little bit counterintuitive. Your overdraft or emergency funds, we talked about this already, just having that $1,000 is a peace of mind for if something happens. It also, as you're getting used to your budget, is that buffer so that if you do end up overspending on something, you're not, overdrafting or going into some kind of debt. The debt snowball is another good one we'll cover. making the minimum payments on all of your debts, but overpaying on your smallest debts. And that seems maybe counterintuitive as well, to pay off the smallest ones first, but it gives you a real psychological boost when you pay off that first small credit card and you realize, like, I can do this. And then that gives you momentum to pay off the next biggest one and start building that snowball. And then once you get going and you get in the habit of paying off debts, it really starts to feel great and you get momentum. Survival number, that's really just the essentials. If you had to cut out, eating out, going out for a nice meal or something, what is it when like times were tight? If someone in your house lost their job, what would be the absolute essentials you had to pay? And that's a great place to start when you're looking at your reserves. We talked a little bit about budgeting twice a month. The on deck account is a little more advanced method of keeping your money that you're earning in an account that's separate from the money that you're going to be spending. All right, let's keep it moving here. So in order to utilize this budget, first you'll need the budget, and I'll show you where we can get that. And then we recommend that you end up setting up 4 different bank accounts. The first one is your monthly bills account. We call it that because it's where all your bills come out of, is essentially your spending account. You probably already have something like this set up, like a checking account. The next one is your overdraft account or your emergency account. A lot of times you can link this in your bank so that if your spending account or monthly bills account does go over the limit, it'll automatically draw from this account. Here's where you want to keep your first goal savings of $1,000. Those are the basics. And then from there, we recommend the next 2, which are your reserves account, where we end up putting additional months of reserves based on your survival number. And then your on deck account, once you get comfortable with the way we're going to set up this budget, we recommend you actually get all of your money deposited into the on deck account and it sits there getting ready to go into the other places. So your on deck account kind of builds up as you're getting your paychecks in. And then when you do your budget for the month, you distribute all of the money out into your monthly bills account, which is going to pay everything in your budget, replenish your overdraft account if you've had to use a little bit of that, and then fill up your reserves account or pay yourself first and save money there.
And as Nathan was just even saying, like those first 2 are most important. Don't let the thought of like, oh my God, I need 4 accounts, like overwhelm you to a place where it deters you from starting the budget. It's a place to evolve to. And the on deck, well, both the third and fourth, your reserve and the on deck. On deck is especially helpful for like even like commission, self-employed, where you don't actually know what you're gonna make each month, and that varies. So don't let that, thinking 4 whole bank accounts, don't let that part overwhelm you.
And yeah, start with the 2, number 1 and number 2, which is basically what most people would use as their checking and savings account. And then adding in those additional ones as you get more comfortable with the system. I just switched over, can everyone see on the screen, to our website, which is a great resource for all things mortgage, and also where you can find this webinar recorded. If you go to resources and then webinars, and all of our budgeting materials are going to be on here as well. So here's the webinar itself. And then if you scroll down to this folder at the bottom, Budget Like a Boss, oops, sorry. Here's where the actual budget lives. And you can download this for free. There's other budgets out there. You're welcome to use another one, but this one is super simple. We love it. We've kind of worked on it for years and years. And yeah, we recommend it. So let's go back to the slideshow. Just wanted to show you quickly where we can get those. Here we go. Oh, sorry. There's the example. Okay. So again, progress versus perfection. Start with 1 month, just kind of laying out what is in your budget. All right. I'm going to go back to the budget itself and talk about that, and then we'll do some more questions.
All right. Dive into the juicy stuff.
This is the good part.
Budget.
All right. So first at the top, you'll notice we've got our phone number and our email. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. Um, it's basically broken down into 6 columns. The first one is just listing out all of your bills and other things that you want to spend money on. That could be charities and savings. So paying yourself for retirement and college funds if you have kids. Um, your expenses all go in here, and these are just examples to get you started. You don't, probably have a mortgage and a rent. You may only have one car. Just take these as kind of guidelines. And we recommend you go in here and just start off with um, filling out what is your, you know, budget. What do you think you're going to spend on these? And be realistic. Don't put in, $0 for something like restaurants or I don't know, whatever it is that's important to you. If you have a pet that you like to spend money on, put a realistic number in for every line. These are just going to be, your essential guideline to start the budget with, and then we'll adjust from there.
Like even
Once,
the Amazon budget. Like
yeah,
if you like to spend money on Amazon, of course, list the actual bills that you have to pay. But even as you forecast over the next month, how much do you think you're going to spend on Amazon? How much do you think you'll spend at going out to eat? Or there a is spouse's birthday coming up? You put whatever, call it what it is.
yeah.
Lay it out there.
Don't be afraid when you start filling this out. Don't be like, "Ooh, I should only be spending, X on this and Y on that," or, try to trim down the electric bill like we're going to turn the heat off or something. Don't do that. Just go ahead and put in like realistic numbers for what you think you're spending on everything. And, if you have an actual number like for your mortgage or your car payment, definitely put that in as well. Um, and then there's also kind of some, you can be a little flexible. Like if you have a credit card that you just use for miscellaneous expenses, like don't feel like you need to put in, oh, this is my coffee budget line item for what I get before work every day. Just put it on your credit card and be like, I want to budget $500 for this card or whatever that is. Then it starts to get interesting when you go over to column 3, this blue column. That's where you have to start kind of making those little bit tougher decisions about what is really necessary. Like if you were in tough times, what would you have to pay? Like couldn't get by without. So a lot of these things are going to be on that list. Your mortgage, your car, if you've got student loans, there might be a potential to have some of those deferred, or there could be a way to lower that, but be realistic here too, because this is what's going to give you that peace of mind when you start to save. When you start building up that reserves account, you'll know at the bottom of this in this blue column, it's going to total up what is your survival number? What do you have to get through a month? And saving up a multiple of that just gives you the freedom to feel like, okay, if I had to quit my job and change my life up, I could do that because I've got 6 months of my survival number, whatever that is for you. Then column 4 gets to your actual expenses. So this is what you're actually spending. And this is where you have to kind of track the difference between what's over here in column 2 and what you actually end up spending on, your eating out or your Amazon and all of that stuff. So you'll fill that out once a month. And then this over here is just going to be the difference of those. So if you have zeros all the way down here, you did a perfect budget, but that never really happens. You're always going to have some items that go over and some that go under. But if you're consistently seeing things that are under, you'll notice places where you have potential to save or alter your budget. Um, Over here in the far right column is where you'll put in your paychecks, so all of your income. And then all of these end up getting totaled down here at the bottom. Okay. And then also there's some kind of really neat net worth calculations that populate down here as well if you use this spreadsheet. That'll show you, what your reserves account at three times your survival number should be what you've actually saved this month. And then as you do these, if you follow down along the bottom, if you do it every month, then it'll even calculate your year to date, and you can kind of track your net worth over time. This is probably a little advanced for tonight, but just wanted to flag it that there's some really cool features once you get into this budget and use this spreadsheet.
And most of it will automatically populate.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll kind of add it up over each month.
yeah. And another thing to call out too, that's sort of a more recent addition to this budget that we really like is it's probably hard to see on the screen, but I'm kind of moving my cursor around this green box. This once you fill this out once, you can just kind of copy it and paste it month over month, and not have to go in and refill it every time. So that's just what that green outline is for, and it calls it out to, I think, over on the side here. Yep. Right. Does that all kind of make sense? Does anybody have any questions about just how this spreadsheet works?
Yeah, so would you like go in and probably put in your like actual expenses more like towards the end of a month?
Ideally,
Like as you go?
ideally you're doing it on the first of the month as much as you can, and that's one reason Nathan was mentioning like maybe twice a month. If you really think through column one and what you're going to spend, like on the first of the month, you're thinking through this next month. You already have like all of the normal things that you're going to pay every month. But then Nathan, if you scroll down a little bit, and this is some just personal the way I do it, I have at the I start with just the things that I absolutely am going to have to pay, and then how groceries. And here we are starting at like restaurant, medical, clothes, daycare, auto, pet, birthday friend, birthday family. As you continue on, I'll think through. Okay, well, I let's say it's the start of the spring. All right, landscaping. I want someone to come help me refresh my yard. I'm going to pay for some landscapers over this next month. Let me go ahead and budget for that. It's my anniversary. I'm sure I'm going to get my husband something. Let me go ahead and put that in. Where you're forecasting what's actually going to be happening this month. And giving, if you do a charity or you're a tither, and savings. I'm every month my financial advisor takes $1,000 from my account. I'm going to put that in, and your survival number is that's what you, if things hit the fan, you have to pay. But that next one, the column G, if that's what you actually spent. So that's this month, it's the start of spring. I want some new dresses. I am letting myself spend $300 on Amazon. And you're putting that in there. So then what your actual spend is what you're thinking what you're actually going to be spending is. And ideally, like let's say there's 2,000 left over as you kind of go through your expenses and what you would normally be giving or savings, then maybe you want to throw another, all right, $2,000 for extra savings. Or, ooh, we're going to be doing pretty good this month. Let me bump that fund money up to 400. So then ideally your net income, Nathan mentioned fear of zero, your net income for the month kind of actually equals the total monthly spent. And hopefully some of that is this H column of money you actually saved. But if we're truly trying to tell our money exactly where it's going, then what you spend should match your income. It's just not all of that was spent on an expense. You just allocated for it. You said these things are going to true expenses. These things are going to some fun things that we're going to be doing this month, and this amount is going to some savings for the month where those columns actually match up.
Okay. So you're not really like going back into like
You do.
accuracy, you're just planning ahead.
You definitely could go back for accuracy.
Okay.
You go through, but that would be kind of like that budget check, that like second time that month of like, okay, how'd I do?
Yeah.
Did that help, Jamie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like Jesse was saying too, every month is going to be different. And I like this little box at the top too. It kind of acknowledges that.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
place where you can put just a little, a theme, a word, a little phrase, whatever for the month. Because there's going to be months where, you're like, okay, we got to tighten the belt. We didn't do great last month. There might be months where you got a big trip planned, you're indulging, you want to really focus on spending. And like, I don't hit those savings numbers this month, well, okay, I'm going to let myself slide. So, um, as you're looking at this at the beginning of the month too, like do it mindfully and realistically. Don't try to be like, I feel like so many budgets are like, you got to account for everything. You got to really like, tighten the screws on yourself. But we try to make it so that like you're being realistic and just living your life while you're also being really conscious of telling your money what you want to do with it. And sometimes that is going to be more spend heavy, and sometimes it's going to be more savings heavy. So just want to call that one out too. Right. Let's go back to the slides and talk about our little challenge for you. So if you, oops, sorry, if you can check out this budget and go on our website, listen to the podcast, check out the spreadsheet and the instructions, and then just take an hour to estimate all your expenses and start with 1 month. So start with your, May if you've got the time to do it in the next day or two. Just start filling it out and see how it feels. See what you get on there, see what you miss, check in at the middle of the month. And you're not going to do perfect the first time, but if you've done an hour of budget work, then we think you will have really made some serious progress and you're going to feel great, first of all. And if you let us know, we will enter you to win a gift card as well. And your odds are pretty good tonight if you do this, that you're going to win.
Can I submit, Nathan? I'm gonna do my budget in the next, I think Thursday. Can I submit?
It's time. Yeah, Jesse, I'm going
I'm
to
just
say for
kidding.
you, you have to get it done by the first because you had a lot of experience.
I'm just kidding. No. No, sometimes I'm human, and we're all human with it. Sometimes like I'm intending to do it on the first, but I definitely don't. It's the 10th, but
Yeah.
it's helpful. It's clarifying. It gives you clarity, it gives you some intentionality. It's not meant to necessarily be perfect, but it gives you clarity. And then that helps you make decisions that fit your goals and what you're doing and what you want. And yeah, keep moving forward.
Yeah. And it is all about progress, not perfection. Like the first month you do it, it's going to feel weird and scary and uncomfortable. And you're probably going to forget some big bill and be like, how did I even forget that?
Yeah.
And then the real like magic of the budget is just doing it every month, revisiting it, holding yourself accountable, or reaching out to us or a friend who might want to do this with you, or a partner. Or a parent. I've heard of people that like sat down with their mom and had never done a budget their whole lives and started budgeting in their 60s. And it's just about like getting the ball rolling, keeping it rolling, and it's going to get better every month. And the more you do it, the more you're going to feel like you are telling your money where to go and you're in control of what's happening with it. So it's like it's not the most exciting thing to do once a month, but it really, really feels good the more you do it. So we would love it if you guys, took an hour this month to get started, and then the next hour you spend on it is going to get easier. And then by month three, it's not going to take you an hour. It's going to take you, 30 minutes to go through your budget and freshen it up.
I have the amount of times I've heard, oh my gosh, doing the budget, I didn't realize how many subscriptions I had, like app subscriptions. It just clarifies.
Yeah, and just putting them on paper, like it one, you see the numbers, and two, you see what they are. And sometimes, like we did this the other day, we were looking at just all of our TV subscriptions, which it's not even, I don't know, $150 a month or something, but we're just like, we haven't even looked at Hulu in months. We don't need that. Let's get rid of that one, you know? So putting it on paper and just getting it off of your mind, like it's not back in the back of your head rolling around like, ooh, do I have too many subscriptions? I don't know. I looked in the budget, they're all there. I counted them up and I feel good about that. Or I had to get rid of three of them. Um, so we also have a couple other Zoom seminars we'd love to invite everyone to. We do this in kind of a rotating quarterly fashion where we do this one. We do one called the Game of Money, which is also meant to be super approachable, but goes into a little bit deeper of like what to do once you've got your budgeting sort of where you want it to be and you're working on your savings. What do you do with your money afterwards? So we do another 45-minute talk about all of that and, investing for the future, wealth building, that kind of thing. And then we also do a quarterly webinar on buying a home here and now. For you guys tonight, maybe not something you need to do anytime soon, but it is really helpful just to kind of snapshot of the market, what's going on. I don't know if you're ever thinking about, buying a home again, or maybe you've got a friend who's thinking about buying a home or a family member or something, and or even if you're just curious, you can tune into that one and just see what's going on with Richmond's real estate market and interest rates and just listen to, our hot takes on what's happening in the market. These webinars do get recorded and posted on our website too. So if you ever miss one, you can always check them out online. And we already talked about, getting all the resources for the budget. They're available for free on our website. The podcast is great. I really enjoy it. There's a bunch of really cool topics, and we're continuing to put out new ones. It's called Straight Talk, and that's sort of the theme of the podcast is it doesn't have to be scary or complicated to think about real estate or think about financial planning. Let's just talk about it like humans and get it all out there. There's a budget one we talked about already, but there's ones about investing in real estate. There's ones about how does everything work? How do real estate agents get paid? How do mortgage lenders get paid? So lots of fun topics. Highly recommend it. Um, it's available on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And whoops, skipped everyone there. And then, like I mentioned before, we love doing these webinars. We would love to talk to any friends or family members or anyone you might know who's looking to buy a home. We think that our best business, our best relationships come from our clients like you guys that have worked with us before, who know us. We always think that great people know great people and appreciate it when you all can send your friends our way. We'd love to talk to them. So our info is all on here, and it can be challenging, it can be confusing, but we are here to help with answers, whether you're buying a home or not. But well, obviously that's our business. So we'd love to talk to anyone you might know. All right, I'm gonna just take the last few minutes we have together. If you guys have any other questions about anything, or if you want me to show you again, like where stuff is on the website, just got a few minutes free to do whatever we want. And thanks again for hanging out and talking about budgeting.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Do you think you'll try it?
Oh, we definitely are. We definitely are.
We
Awesome.
really, really, truly mean it. We're not just saying it to say it. If you try it and you're like, hold on, like in practice, like this is a really high level view of just like how does it work? Once you get in there, you really might have questions like, well, how does this practically apply to me? Or I'm commissioned, I don't know what I'm gonna make. Or like Jamie, we're like, well, hold on, how do I make sure that I'm tracking like what's actually happening, not just what I'm forecasting. As you're using this in your practical world, we really are here for questions. I am Nathan is really the whole team. If there's someone specific on the team as well. We are here for you, and we do this budget ourselves. And we're here to help you make it work for you and walk with you through it.
Oh, well, this is perfect. This is awesome. Yeah, like I said, I think once my wife and I sit down and start doing this, we could be like, see where the money's going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really tells you so much when you're like actually listening out. And you're like, hold on, oh, I am gonna have to pay for this. I'm gonna have to, and some of it even makes you feel better. So you're like, wow, I've got, I'm not just not saving as much as I need to. I'm in a challenging season right now. I just bought a house. I'm having to renovate and fix things, and it's all okay. But at least you know where it's going, and you're making your plan.
Yeah. Hey, absolutely. Well, this has been awesome, guys. Thank you so much for this, and we're glad we attended.
We're glad you're here. Oh, awesome.
Great, guys.
Nathan, you are the man. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Taylor. And Laura's there. Hi, Laura. Good to hear from you as well. And glad to hear y'all are loving the new house.
Oh, for sure. So life is good. Well, I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Take
Great.
care. Jamie, it was great hanging with you too. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much. I'm sure I'll
And
have
let us,
questions once I like start going.
Yeah.
let us know what your
Yeah.
questions are, and let us know, if you've done it, then we'll enter you to win a gift card.
You got 50-50 shot.
I know. Cool. Well, thank you
Thanks,
guys.
Jamie.
Have a
Awesome.
good evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Hmm.